If there is anyone out there who still doubts that America is a place where all things are possible, who still wonders if the dream of our founders is alive in our time, who still questions the power of our democracy, tonight is your answer.
The Hope and Change election of 2008 swept Democrats into great power. 2 years later, the Tea Party movement washed many of them away. With the Republican Party divided, the 2012 presidential election would serve as a defining moment in our nation's history.
And there is one man who's going to make sure that that ticket gets punched on November 6th. There is one man who has got the integrity, the ingenuity, the work ethic, and the wherewithal to be able to make that happen for us. Ladies and gentlemen, we all have to spend the next 28 days taking our country back, and the man who's going to lead us on that fight is the next President of the United States, Governor Mitt Romney.
Ohio's a great place to live. We've got great people, great resources. We need to get our people together and come together as a community. And as a state, with the right leadership, we can do that. And we can start creating jobs and building again, where we have a GDP that we can be proud of. And that's what I'm looking forward to, is for our country to grow again under great leadership.
I feel that the primary reason that the 13 colonies got together was for their national defense. And as far as I'm concerned, what happened in Libya within the last couple of weeks on 9/11, is just a prime reason why we should not even consider Obama to continue as the president.
And when you ask people why they're voting for Obama, what do they usually say?
Because it's not really intelligent typically. They're just like, oh, I'm going to vote for him because he, like one person told me the other day, well, a vote for Mitt Romney's a vote against women's rights or something. I'm just like,
I think it's the apathetic voters that go for Obama because he has these flashy catchphrases and flashy signs, and they're really not understanding the problems of America. They're just seeing these commercials and they're saying, well, Mitt Romney's against people over 70, and Mitt Romney's against, like you said, older women, and Mitt Romney's against college kids because he doesn't support all these college loans, and really they just look at what is the government going to do for me, and they don't look 10, 15 years what's going to be of our country then.
How do you think the first debate went?
I think Romney did a great job. I think the president was completely unprepared. I think
He looked a little tired, didn't he?
Well, he looked a little tired. He looked a little sad. Telling lies is kind of tough. He looked like he was begging for votes at the end. That he knows he doesn't work hard. He knows he's lazy.
He put Obama and Jim Lear in their place a couple times, so that was good.
Yeah. I heard yesterday at Cleveland State, Obama said that Mitt Romney had a makeover.
Huh.
That's how he worded it.
I don't think it was like extreme makeover style or anything.
That's just Obama using his catchphrases and trying to please an inner city crowd that really doesn't know the issues. Just talking more rhetoric than policy, I believe.
I just think in this case that Hillary was definitely responsible for not covering that. Well, it's Obama though. I mean, look, he's in charge. She's working for him. If she didn't, if she knew, the whole bunch of them should be impeached.
Oh, you got the cube.
Oh, yeah.
Love the cube. See, capitalism at its best.
I know, right?
So is it safe to say for you two guys the most important issue in the election here is jobs?
Yes, absolutely.
And
jobs, economy, go hand in hand. And,
And how have your sales been?
They've been actually very good. Yep. Very good. Tapered off a bit, but I think it has more to do with the events that we do. And we can't hit every event.
So we go to the events that are near where we're at. You know, we're not going to hit every Mitt Romney rally, but if there's a Paul Ryan or something as small as a GOP rally like we did in Redlands, California, you know, it's partly about the job and the money, and it's a lot about the experience, traveling the country.
Give me sunshine, give me rain. Makes no difference to me. It's all the same. All the same to me. Call me simple, call me crazy.
$10.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. What we got?
Vote for Mitt. Don't get burned.
I am voting for Romney because I would rather have a president than a dictator.
And I second that. I have already voted for Romney because I am scared of Obamacare.
Hey, brainless, put your arms down. You're drawing flies.
Okay, so I think that Obama is a plant here by the Islamic people to desensitize us to Islam and to infiltrate our people. And I mean, that's just what I think, because he's siding with terrorists. He's apologizing for us to the terrorists and lying to us. And it seems obvious to me that that's where his allegiance is, you know.
Hi, I'm Shakima, and I'm coming to the election to see what he has to say. And
my name is Taban. I really like Mitt Romney. I think he'd be a very good president for us. Come on, guys, we can do it.
I think Obama would be a better president because I feel like Romney is like taking like stuff away from the people who can't afford things, and like I think that maybe it'd be a good to go see what he has to say.
So you're undecided?
Yeah.
But you've had Obama as president for 4 years, though.
Let's go, Romney.
So do you still stand by your words?
Our next president. We're Romney for president. Go Romney all the way. I painted my nails for Romney, and I wore my scarves and my red, white, and blue, and I do hospice for a living, and my patients all support just like me. So we had a ball today.
You look and sound like a proud American, ma'am.
I sure am. God bless America. Thank you for the USA. Thank you. God bless you.
One word to explain Mitt Romney.
Change.
One word to explain Barack Obama.
Idiot.
Barack is a pretty good president too. It's like a big battle in the crash right now between both of these two. Come on, Tamiris, what you got to say about Barack Obama?
So you came here to see what Mitt had to say?
Yes, sir. We sure did.
And what did you guys think about the first presidential debate?
It was okay.
Yeah.
I think Mitt Romney won, but I still like Barack Obama.
I feel like he's trying to take some stuff away that we need, like people who can't afford stuff, like stuff that we need, like.
It's like,
and then like take like public schools away and charge for it. Some people can't afford it.
Right. So you guys still have 28 days to decide then, right?
Yes.
All right.
You know, there's a lot of reasons we don't want this guy. You know, not even just the Muslim thing. I mean, that's really bad. And, you know, we've heard people in the sheriff's department even saying they're coming. You know, start protecting your schools and stuff. And he's a part of that. He wants that. You know, he was out celebrating 2 days and having a good time, talking on The View and everything and laughing 2 days after this guy, the ambassador, was raped and tortured and murdered. He should have been solemn and in mourning. And he's joking around on The View, and, you know, he didn't care. He was with them, you know, covered it up for them, tried.
So Mitt, yeah, that's all we got.
The Constitution starts off, we the government. The Constitution starts off, we the people. We the people give limited authority and power to the government to act for us, not make them pick the winners and losers in America. See, the problem with this president is he sees all of us. He sees all of us as just actors and and pawns in his great plan to manipulate everything from Washington, D.C. He thinks government and bureaucrats in cubicles, in unnamed buildings in Washington, D.C. should decide who wins and who loses in Ohio. Let me tell you one thing. Mitt Romney thinks you should decide who wins and loses in America.
I'll tell you something. I love Ohio. It's an old school place. We like our families. We like our communities. We value personal loyalty. When you were down, you were out, and your whole economy was threatened, the president had your back. You got to have his back now. What else happened? Another thing the Republicans just hate is the health care law says you got to spend 80 to 85% of a person's insurance premiums on their health care, not on profits or promotions. What's happened? We've gotten $1.3 billion in refunds to Americans in lower health insurance rates. Health insurance companies all over the country have lowered their rates because of this. You will never have to play hide and seek with the president's budget. You don't have to play hide and seek with the president's tax returns. You don't have to play hide and seek with the president's college loan program. You don't have to play hide and seek with the president's health care bill. You don't have to play hide and seek. We are coming back. Don't go back. We're coming back. Thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Vote for President Obama. If you have to work for a living, you vote Obama. If you're one of the 1%, you go with the other guy if you don't care about the country. We care, we're 99%.
Generally, this whole election means my whole life. I'm disabled, so I get Social Security, which I paid for, so I think I deserve. I'm also a student. I'm going back to school. I rely on student loans to go to school. I'm trying to better myself, but I can't do it if I don't have the money to go to school. And also women's rights. I have a medical condition that I need birth control pills to control, or I will literally die. So if Obama becomes president, my life gets to go on. If Romney becomes president, I essentially have no life and may literally die.
Well, I just came to see Obama for the first time, so I'm very happy. I'm excited. And I just also want to say thank you to my grandmother and my family and my resident and also this person right here. If it wasn't for him, then I wouldn't be here. He rocks! Thank you, good night.
You got it. So would you say the most important issue for you in this election is benefits?
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, it is for people. People are using it as a crutch to get to something better. It's not, maybe there's people out there who are using the system, and I know they exist, but I'm one of those people who, you know, if I could work full time, I would, but what I did, I can't do anymore because of disability, so I'm going to school to learn something I can do in the future to contribute to society.
Obama toilet paper.
Protect your head against the sun, the rain, and the Democratic influence.
You know, they're pushing this clean coal thing. I think everybody's for that, but I think Obama's been a little bit anti-coal. You know, West Virginia and Southeast Ohio, Pennsylvania, they count on coal a lot, and I think it creates a lot of jobs, and I think right now we're shipping it across seas rather than using our own, and I think we need to use our own coal. We need to use our resources.
You know, they even want to make propane-powered diesel trucks. They don't run. They don't pull. And it's more expensive. It's more expensive than diesel because it's new. But they want to change all the EPA regulations, you know, and you can't.
You know, that's something that happened in California. If you've noticed, they had all the regulations on fuel, and now gas is the most expensive in the country.
Exactly. Well, they've done it to trucks too. If you know you don't have a clean idle truck, or if it's older than a certain year, they've regulated trailers. It's almost like they don't want trucks there.
Yeah.
But yet they want you to haul your stuff out. But it has to be so new of a truck. Not everybody can afford a new truck. You know, they're over. You know, some of them are $120,000. I'm not paying $120,000 to run into California for something that pays me $5.
To vote for the one that you think is going to get you the best bang for your buck, and so to speak, and you know.
And who's leading in that direction for you right now?
Well, right now, I'd like to say Romney, but you know, just like any election in the past, everybody keeps coming in and saying, well, this is so and so, this is what he's done to you in the last 4 years, but it goes deeper than that. It actually goes back to presidential campaigns in the past, and the laws and the bylaws and everything that they pig tie in to get something to pass, and you know, it may not take effect for 3 or 4 years until the next president's in there, and he's got to deal with that.
And one of those resources would be fuel, is getting the Keystone Pipe from Canada.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, that's huge. A lot of jobs.
Energy independence.
I'm all for you know, being energy independent for sure. In the you know, South in Ohio, in Eastern Ohio, they got a lot of the natural gas they're drilling for now, and we need to use all of our own.
You can listen to what they all have to say, but you know, they're the top dog. They're the ones that's supposed to take all the heat, but it's also everybody they got working underneath them that, you know, makes them look good or makes them look bad.
What do you think of the turnout here in Ohio tonight?
It's an awesome turnout.
I know you got to be a little bit disappointed you couldn't get in.
I'm disappointed we couldn't get closer and we couldn't see, but my enthusiasm for Mitt Romney does not change. I am voting Mitt on November 6th.
So it's a pretty busy day here in Sydney, Ohio. A lot going on.
Sure it has been overnight here. Mitt Romney made a visit here to our fine city and state. He's our candidate. Our candidate is one we want to put in there, and I do believe that term limitations would be a big hedge fund for us, that they limit the term to 1 6-year term as president.
It's a great idea. I haven't really heard that before. So instead of having 2 4-year terms, 1 6-year term would eliminate all this going back and forth.
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right.
What if your president, your congressman, or your senator saw it coming in advance? What if they knew this was going to happen? What if they knew why it was going to happen? What if they knew approximately when it was going to happen? And what if they knew what they needed to do to stop it from happening, and they had the time to stop it, but they decided, I'm not going to do it because it might hurt my reelection? What would you think of them? That's exactly where we are today. This coming debt crisis is the most predictable economic crisis we've ever had in this country. And yet, we have a president who has chosen to do nothing to fix this problem, who has waited for alternatives to be offered by those of us in the House, by Mitt Romney, and then simply attack those alternatives while offering no credible solution in its return. That is not leadership. That's what politicians do. And on November the 6th, we are going to elect a leader, Mitt Romney, to deal with this problem and to take on this debt crisis before it gets out of our control. It's a very simple idea. It's very simple. We can't keep spending money we just don't have.
Now, the most important issue to me is kind of trying to get rid of this big government and higher taxes on small businesses like the one I run, the one she works for. We want to see the workforce get back to work, and the only way we can do that is for the small businesses to grow by being able to afford to grow. With these taxes and these regulations and rules and this big government giving to their brothers and friends that are in the big companies, we can't grow and we can't hire people and get more jobs to get this economy back on pace.
I think the military, obviously with the cuts that he's anticipated putting into place, the military will clearly be weakened compared to what it is today, and certainly compared to what it was when I was in a long time ago.
Yes to Romney, no to O.
I think there's two things we could all agree on. One, there should be a sign on the debates, and every time somebody says something false, it should say false, and that goes for either party. And the other thing, I think we should eliminate campaigning till about 4 months or 6 months. This 2 or 4 year campaigning is way too much.
Well, I feel that the most important issue in this election is our country in general. This isn't a normal election, Republican versus Democrat. We have a president that's in the White House right now that I feel is almost anti-American. And we are fighting for our country, not just we're going to lose our privileges.
Don't tell anybody I'm going to stick with Obama, because I'm basically a Democrat. You got any other questions?
And what the most important issue to this election is the military and our war overseas?
Well, I don't think so. For most people, I think it's the economics. But for me, being in the Army, for me, that is one of my important things I kind of look at, because I get deployed about every 3 years. And so this is baby Seth, who's 18 months old, and it makes a big difference to me now whether or not I get deployed.
So who's he voting for? He's got to wait a couple years, I guess.
He's probably going to vote for the Republican, because his dad is a Republican, even though I'm Democrat, and he keeps following his dad's ways.
Okay. You know what somebody brought up, sir? Somebody said that presidents should only run once, and it's for 6 years. Do you think that would help with getting things done in this country and less campaigning and going back and forth?
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. They wouldn't be afraid to make the right decisions, worried about getting votes. So it's probably not a bad idea.
I feel when Obamacare comes in full effect in 2014, I feel when people find out really how hard they're going to hit, including the middle class, nobody gets away with not paying taxes. You're going to find out there's going to be a civil war in this country with another 4 years of Obama.
We've had a fella in there for 4 years, and he makes a lot of promises, but he doesn't come through. So I think it's time for a change. I think we all want to, all the Congress, the President, all of them should get on for our country, not for their individual parties.
And that's all I got to say. And I hope you people that are not paying attention truly start paying attention. And if you want to get some good information, no spin, watch Fox News. Thank you.
So what has changed in Indiana in the last couple of years since the last election when they voted for President Obama?
The feedback that I consistently hear is that Obama is more of a puppet. I think during the last election, a lot of the general population was excited to see the very first African-American president be elected into power. And when things didn't turn out, they had high hopes for him, and when things didn't turn out the way that they thought that they would, that they kind of abandoned that wishful thinking and is back to reality.
So there's a lot of farmland here in Indiana, and It was safe to assume that most farmers usually vote for a Republican, but that wasn't the case last election.
No, it wasn't, and but a lot of farmers also have to deal with a lot of taxes, not just on their land, but on their crops. Their crops don't reflect the rate of inflation and things like that. So farmers actually dealt a hard blow. So they're going to be leaning towards somebody who can help them out and, you know, protect what's theirs.
Oh, thank you.
Do you think that a lot of Christians would not vote for Mitt Romney because he doesn't align with their beliefs?
I'm afraid they won't because he is a Mormon, and born-again Christians tend to not consider Mormons in mainline Christianity. And because of that, I know people who will be voting third-party candidates, and that bothers me because that is in essence casting the vote for the opponent.
And do you think President Obama has been very Christian the last couple of years or in his lifetime?
No, I personally believe he's a Muslim.
Was blind, but now
I'm a Vietnam veteran, also Rocky Freedom veteran. Our defense of America is most important. We live in the greatest country on God's green earth. There's no limit what you can do as an American. I love America, but I'm not happy with our commander-in-chief. I'm looking for Mitt Romney to be my commander-in-chief, and I love America. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yesterday in Philadelphia, we had a fundraiser for him. We raised $4 million for Governor Romney. $200,000 out of Chester County alone. Some of the easiest money I ever raised because people understand what's on the line. So I'm asking you, do you understand what's on the line? Do you? Are you prepared to come out and work? Knock on a few more doors. Make a few more phone calls. Maybe donate another $25. If you do, I guarantee you this. We're going to win this campaign right here in Pennsylvania. Like I said, if we win Pennsylvania, we win the United States of America for Governor Romney for our future.
We, the people of the U.S., have our freedoms we want to keep. Don't spend us into bankruptcy. Don't pass it on to your kids. Dun, 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 dun.
Should be in show business.
Oh, yeah, it could be. I would vote for Newt Gingrich. I would vote for Allen West. I would vote for Glenn Beck if he was running for something. Michelle Bachmann.
Not Michelle Obama.
No. I almost slipped on that one, wouldn't I? I like to eat what I like to eat, Michelle Obama.
My dad is a genuinely good person. He cares and loves for his family and for those that he knows. And the reason that he's running for office is he knows that he can help America get back on its feet. He wants to help all of us have a brighter, more prosperous future. He cares deeply that he's been taught. I have a lot of people say, well, by the way, I have dozens of these stories of people's lives who he's impacted tremendously. And people ask me all the time, how come your dad doesn't go out and tell those stories himself? How come we don't hear more about those things? Well, it's simple. His parents taught him that when you do good things, you don't brag about them. And he, even though he's running for office, he's not going to change his stripes. He's talking about his vision for America, his plan to fix the problems that we're facing. But he doesn't get up there and brag about the stuff that he's done. Sometimes I wish that he would. But he's not going to change who he is. So that's why I'm here, to brag about the things that he's done.
Salem Pride Day.
Yeah, so.
And that's huge. 30-some thousand people go through that area. So they're going to focus on that because they get a lot of registrations, but they won't be IDing voters really.
Right.
They'll be getting, new people and stuff, but not necessarily IDing them.
Right.
My name is Pat Poprick, and I'm the chair of the Bucks County Republican Party here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. We're located right outside of Philadelphia, to give you a geographic point. Bucks County is a very unique county in that we vote very heavily Republican in the county elections and some local elections. However, since 1988, the presidential race every year has gone to the Democratic side. This year, with what's going on in the county and in the nation, we see a marked difference in the people. We know we're having a lot more people come out. We had a very successful debate party last night and a very successful debate, and we plan to win Bucks County for Mitt Romney. The people are energized, motivated, and there's a difference in the air. We feel it, and we're going to bring it home for them.
But there are certain facts that don't need investigating. It doesn't need investigating to know there were 2 attacks on our consulate in April and June of last year. One of them blew a hole in the wall that 40 people could get through. It's a fact that the British closed their consulate. It's a fact that there was an assassination attempt on the British ambassador. It's a fact that the Red Cross closed their facility there. It's a fact that request after request and warnings about the deteriorating security of Benghazi were sent back and ignored. Those are facts at the time. And so our Lieutenant Colonel Wood said that their request after request was turned down and that the only flag flying left was the American flag in the consulate, and it was a target. It wasn't only a target, it was a death house. So those are facts. Some of us here remember that are old enough that when Ronald Reagan came to the presidency, they said he had no experience. He'd only been the governor of California. He was a cowboy. He was going to get us in a bunch of wars. And that Jimmy Carter was, well, anyway. And the fact is that Ronald Reagan had a vision for America. He had a belief in American exceptionalism. He believed in peace through strength. He believed that America never got into a war because we were too strong. He believed in the inherent phrase of peace through strength. And he believed America was a shining city on a hill. Mitt Romney believes all those things. Mitt Romney has that belief about America. Mitt Romney has great faith and confidence in the men and women who are serving. With all due deference to our generation, the men and women serving in the military today are the finest, best motivated people we've ever had serving in the military.
Socialized medicine does not work. It doesn't work for a small country like Belgium with 5 million people. They are paying 60% in tax, and we have the best health care here in the United States, and I want to maintain that health care for everyone. The people in the United States are so used to calling their doctor and immediately being able to go and seek treatment. Under socialized medicine, those liberties are going to be given up forever.
Start now. Can you do that for me? Start now. Let's do it, man. History starts now. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Thank you so much. Connie Mack's going to be a great United States Senator, just like his dad was. Work hard for him the next 6 days. Now, I know in Jacksonville you guys have the much renowned curvature effect, which means the hurricanes never come to Northeast Florida. I've been told that. But you love this state, and you're from Florida, and you recall how we suffered through 8 hurricanes and 4 tropical storms in 16 months, and how we came together as a people, and how we depended upon the Salvation Army and the American Red Cross, churches all around the country, in fact, all around the world. People came to Florida in our time of need. We had $100 billion of losses. Over 1 million homes were not just partially destroyed, but completely destroyed. We had people that were one paycheck away from having a problem before the storms and then got into serious problems. And guess what? The American spirit was alive and well. People got took care of their families and their friends. They came from all over and they provided support. And so now it's our turn. Now it's our turn to show the generosity of the American spirit. It's our turn to pay back those that live in New Jersey and New York and Connecticut and all across the Northeast. Our country has huge problems, structural problems that require people that actually want to solve problems rather than just talk about it or excuse away why it is that things are working. You know, President Obama was dealt a tough hand. We were told that. We hear this every day almost if you watch TV. You know, and of course it's my brother's fault for everything that goes on. It's almost as though the dog ate my homework is the reason why we're going through tough times. But let me tell you, Mitt Romney, from day one, job one, will be to restore the American economy so people can be able to pursue their dreams as they see fit by limiting government and expanding the possibilities for people to be successful, to build capacity so people don't have to get in line and be dependent upon government. No one wants to do that.
We're here in Jacksonville, Florida at the Mitt Romney speech that he gave tonight, and we're here promoting the 180 movie at 180movie.com. The principal core of the pro-life movement has people torn at both sides, and if you actually had a 3-year-old child and your husband did something horrible to you and you could never forgive him again, would then you be able to go to that 3-year-old child and say, he just reminds me so much of this man, so I got to get rid of him? And that would be ludicrous for anybody to think that you could do that to somebody who's 3 years old. But we're doing the same thing because the value is not on the situation, it's on the human life itself. And we know from conception, science has known from conception, Planned Parenthood has known since their 1960 flyers that they put out that this is the end of a child. 180movie.com, go check it out.
We both bleed red, white, and blue. We're very true Americans. Matter of fact, when I retired this year, we had a choice of going anywhere else, and we chose to go across the United States. There's more here to see than any other place.
It's a big, beautiful country.
It is. It's very beautiful. We just got through to Washington, D.C., saw all the monuments there, and just it was very, very moving there.
Washington, D.C., you didn't happen to see Obama over there, did you?
No, I'm glad I didn't. I'd get in trouble right now if he did.
What's the pink for?
The pink.
Pink!
Cancer!
Let's talk about Pelosi. Sucker that's stealing millions of dollars flying home to see her husband. I mean, it's a lot of money to get laid, you know?
Or the other one out there.
She needs love too. You know, so.
What's her name? The black congresswoman.
What about Barney Franks? Huh? What do you think
Franks,
of him? He's a worm man too, ain't he?
So do you guys have anything you'd like to talk about on this election? I see there's a lot of early voting going on in Florida, and it looks like a much different response than I saw in 2008.
You know, I'm going to speak as a minority, and I think that this time the minority wised up and said, you know, just because you're black doesn't make you a good president. And I think the minority have wised up and said, the money counts. We are in debt to our ears, and the one that's going to make the difference is going to be Romney.
I'm from North Carolina, and I voted early before I came down here for the rally, just in case I don't make it back. And I'm strongly opinionated that the early voting can lead to the city people or people in town near the polls having an easier and more accessible vote than the people in the rural America.
I'm not a very big Obama person. I really think that he does not belong in the White House. He's taken up space in our White House. He's very non-American, and he proves it in everything he does. No president should ever bow to any other country, and the things that he does with Libya, denying all of that and not taking action like he should have, it's all wrong.
How does Obama pay for his tuition to go to school, and the rest of them? Where did he get the money to do that? Arabs? Who's giving him? Muslims giving him the money for this?
Here's the question. Who did he build to get his millions? He's never had a job.
Never had a job, and then he bought a house with $1 million, and then he bought a property next door for how much?
And both him and his wife are barred. They can't practice law. Where did he get his money?
I only wish that Romney would have said to Obama, I'll tell you what, let's make a deal. I'll disclose 10 years of my taxes, you disclose your college education, etc., etc. You disclose those items. And disclose your birth certificate too.
I'm for Mitt Romney. I think that we need somebody in the White House who's an American. And
loves their country.
Yeah, loves our country and wants to represent our country,
this is a beautiful country.
Not the interest of other countries. Yes.
The best country in the world.
And you guys certainly have reinforced that the last couple of weeks, and you guys are doing this road trip here.
Yes. And
it is a beautiful country. We like to keep it that way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And hopefully our vote, since we are traveling, our absentee ballot will count, but I have my doubts. But I still have to vote. I'm American, I still need to vote. I just hope that it counts.
I see you got a Yuma shirt on there. Are you from Arizona?
Arizona. And it's not an actual prison run. It's a historical Yuma prison from the 1800s, and it's a big bike event there.
I take it you guys voted for McCain in 2008.
Oh yeah. All that. Palin and McCain, yes. That would have been awesome if they did it. It would have been great.
As far as I'm concerned, no matter who gets in, it'd be the same bullshit.
I don't agree.
I agree. They ain't gonna change.
Somebody got to change it.
No,
somebody has to.
They don't, because it's watching business as usual.
There's talk about we're going from 16 to 20 trillion dollars.
I was just saying.
My deal is they get in the first year.
Because this man has not made a budget in 4 freaking years. You expecting 8 years you're going to do it? I don't think so.
Now he's saying it's going to take more time.
He's just taking our people's money and say, well, let's give here, let's give there. I need a vote over here. I can get this over here.
You look like you love your country, sir.
Yes, I do. I put my time in for it.
Yeah, it's great. Here we are in the heart of Ybor City. I grew up 4 blocks from here, and living proof of the American dream. This, without question, other than the 1980 election, this is probably even more important than that one. It's the most important election of our lifetime, and there's a clear choice right now for president, a clear choice, and we can either move backwards versus forward, as he claims, or we can really move forward with Governor Romney.
The president came in 4 years ago with huge support. I mean, it was an army of support. As a partisan, in my case, it was debilitating to see how effective his campaign was. That's all gone. The hope and change has really kind of been, now it's divide and conquer, and I think people get turned off by that. So if you look at independent voters, by a substantial plurality, they're supporting Romney. Our base is really mobilized, and I think a lot of people on the other side are disheartened. So I would predict safely that Governor Romney wins, not in a landslide, but wins.
So many of us, as he says, have had parents that were immigrants or grandparents that were immigrants, particularly in this city here in the city of Tampa, in front of this almost 100-year-old bakery. We just feel passionate about the reality that the time has come, and we're happy to give anyone an opportunity, and after 4 years, if it doesn't work, we need to move on, and it seems as though there's a growing consensus that that's where we are in today's environment.
Would a bakery like this today survive if they were just starting off?
A bakery like this, in my mind, wouldn't start off today. I couldn't conceive of starting a business. I don't think Simon as well.
Let me tell you the biggest concern this bakery has to have, and that is what the cost of Obamacare, which I refer to as Obamination, as opposed to abomination, is. And that is the reason that corporate America is so reluctant to hire right now. One of the main reasons that you have 7.9% unemployment. Listen, corporate America is flush with cash. They've got very little debt. There's all the incentive in the world for them to be able to hire more. But who's going to hire more when they don't really know yet what the cost of Obamacare is going to be? I can tell you it's going to be astronomical.
I know what it's like to do what Governor Christie's going through right now, organizing all in. I mean, he's been impressive in the rebuilding efforts, which are, I mean, there's serious problems up there. To say to the President of the United States, no, you can't come to my state, I mean, it would be completely wrong. And look, we're in the middle of an election, but you get elected to serve, and people expect you to serve, particularly when there's an emergency. So I give Chris Christie enormous credit for the job that he's doing. And I think you got to accept the fact that it's not all about politics sometimes. When people don't have power and you can't get gasoline and you can't take your kids to school and you're losing your job and you're fearful of the problems of all this, you want help and you want people to put aside the partisan differences. So, you know, I don't know why people always feel like there's a political angle to everything.
You cannot live in a society full of entitlements. This is what's happening in Europe. And this is why Europe is in the mess that it's in. And that mess is making its way here.
Good luck. 3 more days.
This is just fine. And Arthur Davis is a remarkable man. He's a remarkable. We are thrilled to death to the Republican Party. We welcome him in the party. We recognize his talent and his abilities and his clear insight. Finally, a little slow on the uptake, but so we please welcome. He's good friend now. Be able to
Thank you very much. You know, Bay and I were watching television on Fox, of course, on our bus before we pulled up here. And they were talking about the fact that, you know, either way, this is President Obama's last day on the campaign trail. We were going to beat him, or you'd be term limit, could run again. And I was thinking as they were reflecting on that moment in his life, may we highly resolve, ladies and gentlemen, that January 20th, 2013 is his last day on the public trail. You know, but ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow night, all of the angst about this country, all the concerns about what this presidency is doing to us, it is going to melt away and be replaced by a sense of optimism and a sense of hopefulness. We were about to put in the White House someone who understands that when you become president, you're not elevated over the American people. You don't become king of the American people. You become the servant of the American people.
What I'm concerned about is with the mainstream media is they have all kind of speakers on and they're talking about a general thing. Then they ask them a softball question about, well, what do you think about the election? The people say, well, I really don't want to get political. But then eventually it was obviously a setup, because then here comes their opinion. You have to vote for Obama because of global warming or some economic thing or something else. So not being fair, when they have somebody that supports Romney on there, they're just pounding them with really slated questions or things that you can't answer because of the way they phrased them. And then they cut them off and want to interfere.
Years ago, when he was asked if he thought our country's exceptional, he couldn't answer. He said, I'm sure the Greeks think their country's exceptional, or the British think theirs is. So here we are. The whole world thinks our country's exceptional, and we got a president who doesn't think it is. That is unbelievable to me.
And I just think the mainstream media is just so in the pocket. There's no fair and balance in anything. They're obviously pro-Obama to the max and do anything to get him elected.
Is there any stations that you listen to besides Fox News?
Radio stations, 95.5 carries Rush and Mark Levin and Sean Hannity and all those. I listen to the other news. I try to watch some of the news shows, but they're so liberal, it's so obvious they don't have a conservative voice on the panel. It's just hard to do. You have to turn them off.
Talks to Joe the plumber before he was even elected, and that phrase slipped out about redistributing wealth, and since then I've realized that phrase is right out of the Communist Manifesto. That's right out of their playbook. Redistribute the wealth. That's why we've got to get this guy out of Washington.
We punch up the president right here at 246. What if he were to come in here and take Ohio's 18 electoral votes?
He never managed the business, he never started the business, and we have Mitt Romney, who, people attacked. The Obama team attacked his wealth. He should be a role model for America. This is a capitalist nation. Of course, I have students ask me, well, what's wrong with socialism? But Romney gave his entire inheritance to charity. He is totally self-made. He didn't take a dime salary when he was governor, when he saved the Olympics. He has all this business experience. He's created tens of thousands of jobs. Barack Obama has done none of them. Totally unqualified and not even eligible legally by the constitutional standards to hold the office. This is an utter disgrace and disappointment. We have Obama, totally anti-Christian. He, on record, during the 2008 campaign, saying he's always hated this nation. And they elect a man like this. We get what we deserve, folks, and we're under selective judgment, I believe, in the last days here. It's going to really take something to save this nation. I predict we could be under martial law within the next year under President Commissar Obama. What were you thinking?
I want you to know that I'm optimistic. I'm convinced that the future is brighter than the past. I don't believe our kids are going to have tougher times than we did. I believe that they're going to have brighter times with good job opportunities. I believe kids coming out of college are going to find work again. I believe someone in their 40s and 50s ought to have those as their best earning years with a chance to put a little money away. I think our seniors ought to be confident that their retirement is secure, that their health care is secure. These things can happen again and will. They will happen again. And I'm convinced of that because I've seen the heart of the American people over my lifetime. We're hardworking people. We're entrepreneurial. We're innovative. We're optimistic. I also see in the heart of the American people a greatness and a willingness to live for something bigger than ourselves. One of whom was a former Navy SEAL, and he'd served with our SEALs. And even after he left the SEALs, he wanted to continue to make a difference in the Middle East. He cared about the people there, and so he He volunteered for assignments to go over and provide security for various efforts in the Middle East to try and help there. And I just learned a few days ago that he was one of the 2 former Navy SEALs killed in Benghazi. And it broke my heart. He was a guy who had lived in my home state of Massachusetts. We shared some passions for the kinds of things he was interested in. And I read a story about him and about the fellow that he was with, the other former Navy SEAL. They were apparently not in the consulate when it was hit. They were apparently in another facility across town, according to CNN International. And when they heard that the consulate was under attack, they didn't go hide. They didn't hunker down. They got up with some others and came to the consulate to the aid of their fellows. That's America. That's America. That's the American spirit. We face some real challenges, but we don't run from them. We run to them. We confront them. Right now, we face some major challenges in this country. This debt is a threat to us. It's got to end. This economy is not creating the jobs it should. We've got to fix it. Our schools aren't preparing our kids for the jobs of tomorrow. We've got to fix them so we give our kids the bright prospects they deserve. Our military, we depend upon it for our security. We depend upon it to help provide liberty to others around the world. The idea of cutting it by $1 trillion is unthinkable. We must strengthen it and keep it the hope of the earth that it's been for decades and decades. This is our time. This is our time here. We benefit from the fact that the greatest generation provided for us prosperity and peace and gave us hope and optimism for the future. They held a torch aloft for us to see, but there are not as many of them as there used to be. And they're not able to hold the torch as high as they used to because of their age. It's our time to take that torch. It's America's honor to carry that torch of freedom and hope and opportunity for the world. And we're going to do it. We're going to do it here in Ohio. And I make this commitment to you. My commitment to you is that I will do everything in my power to keep America strong. I will restore the values that made America the nation that it is. I will do everything I can to strengthen our economy, to get more good jobs for our people and rising incomes again. I'll do everything I can to strengthen our military, to stand with our friends globally, to make sure we don't show distance between ourselves and our best friends in the world. I will do everything to get this country right again. I'm confident that the people of Florida have very clear eyes. You understand what's at stake in this election. I know you have full hearts, and on November 6th, we can't lose. We're going to get America back. We're going to strengthen this country. We're going to get people to work. This is our time. This is your time. Let's take back America and keep it the hope of the earth. Thank you so very much. You guys are great. Thank you.
This time, with the new action and activity going on in Bucks, we plan to win for Mitt Romney and bring Bucks County in for Mitt Romney. I'm sorry. Guys, that's why.
Came from Manasquan, Bruce.
Really?
Yes.
Manasquan. Manalapan here. Holy smokes. Manalapan. Jersey.
Thank you, Bruce.
Jersey. There we go. Hey, lady. Hey, lady.
Look at
That's
that.
his.
Thank you. I couldn't stretch that far.
Glory days on there, huh?
I just got Bruce's autograph, made my life. So excited. I've seen him 6 times in concert, and it was awesome to actually shake his hand, take a picture with him.
When I graduated from the Naval Academy, I tried to get in the Marine Corps, but my parents were married. Now,
The governor of Utah came back a second time and asked my dad, would you please consider this? And my dad thought about it for about a minute and said, no, thank you. Well, Governor Levitt got smart, and he approached my mother next. once she decided that this was the right thing to do, he packed his bags and out they went.
So were you girls here to see Bill Clinton or Bruce Springsteen today?
Bruce Springsteen, but I love Bill Clinton. She was Bill, I was Bruce, so we have both worlds.
You got an autograph there? You got an autograph there?
I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
He's kind of famous, the guy on the left. He was a 7 million phone call for Mitt Romney here in Florida.
And then I had a son who at 18 joined the Marine Corps, spent 4 years as a combat infantryman and tour in Iraq, came home and said, Dad, you know, the Marines are a part of the Navy Department, he said, the men's department.
I was a leader in the Boy Scouts of America some years ago. Got some Boy Scouters here. And I was at a court of honor. That's where the Boy Scouts get their Eagle Scout awards or other awards. And there was a Formica table at the front of the room, and I was seated at the end of the table next to the American flag. The person who was speaking was the Scoutmaster from Monument, Colorado. And he said that the boys and his troops wanted to have a very special flag. So they bought one, had gold tassels on the outside. They sent it to be flown above the Capitol, and it was. Then when it came home, the boys said, let's have it go on the space shuttle. That'll make it even more special. Scoutmaster said, okay. They contacted NASA. NASA agreed. He said the boys were so proud as they looked from their home rooms at school and watched the shuttle Challenger go up in the sky, and then they saw it explode before their eyes. Scoutmaster said he called NASA a couple of weeks later and said, have you found any remnant of our flag? And they had not. He said he called every week, week after week, month after month, and still nothing. And then one day he was reading an article in the paper about some of the debris that had been found from the Challenger disaster. And in that article, there was a list or a mention of a flag. So he called NASA and said, have you found something you can give to us? And they said, in fact, we'd like to make a presentation to your boys. So NASA came together with the Boy Scout troop of Monument, Colorado, and they presented the boys with a plastic container. And he said, we opened it up, and there was our flag in perfect condition. And he said, that's the flag on the flagpole here next to Mr. Romney. And I reached over and grabbed the flag and pulled it out. And it was as if electricity was running through my arm. Because I thought about the people whose lives had been lost in that tragedy. And I thought about the fact that they had walked in danger's way for learning, for knowledge, for pioneering, for something bigger than themselves, for us. I think of our men and women in uniform and their willingness to walk in harm's way, for us, for freedom. I have a favorite verse in one of our national hymns, America the Beautiful. In that hymn, we talk about the rocks and rills and templed hills and Purple Mountain's majesty and all of the great physical characteristics of our land. But there's a verse that touches me more deeply where it says, "O beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life." Would our veterans and members of the armed forces please raise your hands so we can recognize you? Thank you. It is part of the American national character to live for things bigger than yourself.